Hey guys, Take TV here with my WWE Money in the Bank 2014 full show review, and Michael Cole introduces us to his guest at this time, former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan. Bryan makes his way to the ring in street clothes, and once he enters the ring and his music fades, we hear a loud Daniel Bryan chant from the fans in Boston. Bryan looks around the arena with a big smile on his face as the fans continue to explode with Daniel Bryan, and then yes chants. After the chants die down, Cole asks Bryan how his recovery is going and asks him when he will return to the ring. Bryan says this is where he has some bad news. He actually doesn't know. He says the strength in his arm still hasn't come back and that he might actually need to undergo another surgery. He does, however, promise that he will eventually return and be better than ever. Cole asks Bryan to describe his feelings knowing that someone tonight is going to climb up a ladder and become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He says he's been climbing an uphill battle his whole career, and it wouldn't be Daniel Bryan's story without some setbacks. He promises to return and win the title one day. Michael Cole switches gear and asks Bryan for his prediction who he thinks will win tonight. Bryan says he has 3 people he thinks could win. He mentions John Cena, fans boo. He mentions Randy Orton, everyone boos. And he mentions Roman Reigns, and everyone cheers. Some Twitter questions are read off to Daniel Bryan to answer, and he does, in storyline fashion of course. He talks about never getting beaten for the title and the authority had to strip him to get the title off of him. As he continues talking, Bo Dallas's music plays. Out comes the inspirational leader of the BoLeave movement. Dallas says Bryan may not be able to climb the ladder tonight, but he has to climb the ladder of life. All he has to do is BoLeave. Bryan says Dallas is acting like a boner. The fans start chanting boner, boner, boner. He says he speaks for all the fans when he says BoLeave. Bryan's music plays and he leaves the fans in more yes chants. We start off the actual show and it's Luke Harper and Erick Rowan taking on the Usos for the tag team titles. And to be honest, I was looking forward to this match. I know that these 4 men can hold a great match of their own. And as I said, I was looking forward to it. Many back and forth action by the Usos and the Wyatts. I thought the Wyatts were going to get it at one point, but of course the Usos managed to retain the title. I believe it was both Jimmy and Jay super kicked Luke Harper, I believe, down. Then one of them went to the top rope, hit a splash with the other second Uso scoring for the pin after he hit another splash. 2 splashes for the 3 count. Win and still tag team champions for the Usos in a great match opener in what I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. I had to think of what I'll give it, but it was a great match. I did 3.5 out of 5. Dean Ambrose sends a message to Seth Rollins. We see Dean Ambrose backstage in street clothes addressing Seth Rollins. He talks about being torn between climbing the ladder to grab the briefcase or using the ladder to bash in Rollins' face. Case, face, he says. Bottom line, the Dean Ambrose promo was awesome. Words can't do it justice. It was a lot of attitude and performance. It's not just what he said, but it's how he said it. It was really good stuff, to be honest. Paige, the Divas Champion, were defending against Naomi next in a match that had a lot of botches, to be honest. There was one where they went to the top rope and they both tumbled to the outside. And Paige ended up hitting like a DDT or something. I'm not really sure if it were meant to happen like that. But as I said, it looked like a bit of a botch. Well, for the ending. But Paige ended up hitting the DDT, so to speak, and ended up getting the win. And Cameron was pretty happy about it in the end at ringside. Still Divas Champion is Paige. It was a decent match, but quite a lot of botches. Well, I'll give it a 2.3 out of 5. Up next is Paul Revere vs Adam Rose. Scary to think that last year Damien Sandow won for Money in the Bank, and now he lost to Adam Rose. Adam Rose quickly defeated him. However, Paul Revere, aka Damien Sandow, did get a bit of a fencing, and BoLeaive goes for a huge moonsault at one point but doesn't manage to find the target. In the end, Rose blasts Sandow with his finisher for the 3. After the match, Rose dances around like a goof with the rosebuds, and I'm pretty glad it's over because they're obviously going to win. I'll give it a 1.7 out of 5. And next we get a promo from Seth Rollins, Jack Swagger and Seb Coulter. They all talk about Money in the Bank. Backstage we see Seth Rollins. He cuts a quick promo about Dean Ambrose and tonight's Money in the Bank ladder match for a briefcase. Next we go to Jack Swagger and Seb Coulter, and they as well cut a promo about the Money in the Bank ladder match. But now it's Money in the Bank ladder match for the briefcase, and it's Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose versus Rob Van Dam versus Dolph Ziggler versus Jack Swagger versus Kofi Kingston. And this match was pretty awesome. We saw some high flying moves. We saw a lot of high flying moves from Kingston, such as Kingston jumping onto the top rope and hitting a huge splash from the outside. Now there was even one point when I thought that Kingston was going to climb up and retrieve the briefcase. We saw a powerbomb off the ladder by Jack Swagger to Rob Van Dam. That was pretty awesome. And then we also saw a superplex by Dean Ambrose to Seth Rollins. I thought Rollins were dead, but Dean Ambrose looked like he injured his shoulder and he had to go away. Officials took him away because he obviously couldn't continue. But then we saw loads of back and forth action. There was one where Seth Rollins was knocked off the ladder onto a ladder behind him, and the ladder literally went up in the air, and it literally just moved in the air with Rollins on top of him, while on top of the ladder. That honestly, it was awesome match if you ask me. But Dean Ambrose come from out of nowhere and he hit the chair with Seth Rollins and continued beating the crap out of him. But then from out of nowhere, Kane's powerbomb hit, and out comes Kane. Kane stopped Dean Ambrose, but Dean Ambrose got down and were fighting him off. But then Kane hit a massive chokeslam, got him up, followed that with a tombstone power driver. He helped Seth Rollins up and held the ladder for him. Seth Rollins retrieved the briefcase, winner and Mr. Money in the Bank for this year. Seth Rollins in a great match, I'll give a 4 out of 5. The Authority and Seth Rollins celebrate on the stage, and Seth Rollins is now missing Money in the Bank. Backstage, Randy Orton is asked what his chances are for Money in the Bank ladder match for the vacant WWE World Heavyweight Championship tonight. Orton says his chances are better than anyone else's. He's asked about his reaction to what just went down in the previous Money in the Bank ladder match. Orton says that's all and well, but he won't need anyone to win his match tonight. He won't need any help, unlike Seth Rollins. He's asked about Roman Reigns, but doesn't seem to want to comment on that. Rybaxel versus Curtis Axel. Rybaxel and Curtis Axel versus Goldust and Stardust. Back and forth action again. Pretty hard to determine a winner. I wasn't really sure if Rybaxel would get retribution, if Goldust and Stardust as Dust would retain their undefeated streak, so to speak, since Cody Rhodes has been Stardust. But we end up seeing Goldust and Stardust win again. Ryback goes with a meet-up clothesline and he gets allowed 3 more chants at one point, to which he yells to the crowd, "I still got it." However, Goldust makes the tag to Stardust, who comes in with a ton of energy, hitting fast-paced moves and offense on anything that moves, offensively scoring for pin. After the match, Axel flips out, but ends up getting hit with a double team finishing type move from both Goldust and Stardust. Their music plays and they celebrate in odd fashion, in what I'll give a 2 out of 5. Next, Layla and Summer Rae argue over Fandango. We see a recap of some recent tweets in the Fandango, Layla and Summer Rae triangle situation. This leads to video highlights of Summer Rae and Layla dumping milk and kitty litter etc. on each other recently, as well as the Summer Fandango kissing stuff and all that nonsense that has happened in this angle so far. From there we shoot backstage where we see Fandango in a bedazzled referee t-shirt. He's asked about his love triangle and he says, "Fandango loves triangles." He asks about how he's going to call for match down the middle tonight. Layla enters the scene and says he can't call it down the middle because he loves her. Someone walks in and talks about how Fandango needs someone with long legs, not a runt like her. Layla talks about how Fandango likes big breasts. They continue to argue about what Fandango likes and eventually storm off in their separate directions. And next, it's Rusev vs Big E. Lana cuts a promo, obviously, but this match ends up being pretty awesome. We see lots of back and forth action. We saw Rusev take a really hard spear to the outside, landing directly on his back. That was pretty awesome, and a pretty awesome segment. Well, pretty awesome match. Pretty awesome spot in the match, shall I say. Big E gets a couple of actual near finishes as the announcers heavily put over for the fact that we've never seen Rusev in this kind of trouble before. In the end, however, Rusev floors Big E with a big kick, and since he actually took punishment as he fires up and calls for the finish, he seems more pissed than ever. Lana calls for Rusev to crush, and obviously he does, applying for accolade to Big E. Big E hangs in there for the hold for quite a while, nearly fighting his way out of it, but ultimately there's no choice but to tap out. Winner is Rusev in a 2.7 out of 5, a pretty awesome match. Next, Stephanie McMahon kicks Brie Bella out of the building. We see the Bella twins in what Stephanie McMahon, who questions why Brie Bella is what she's doing in the building since she fired her a few weeks ago. Nikki tells Stephanie that she was just showing a family member a new favourite video, which is Vicky Guerrero throwing Steph in the mud or whatever on Raw. Stephanie says that the new company policy is that no one is allowed backstage except employees. Stephanie called for security to throw Brie out of the building. Summer Rae vs Layla is up next, and to be honest, I wasn't really able to watch this match because my WWE network was lagging, but from what I did see of it, it was a pretty boring match, and then I just saw them fighting, and then it just lagged and skipped to the end of the match. So Layla takes over the offense momentarily as a CM Punk chants break out. Layla continues a domination over Summer and covers her. Fandango gets down and counts 1, 2, 3. Layla wins. After the match, Layla and Fandango make out as Fandango's music plays, and we see Summer Rae laying in the middle of the ring. Fandango and Layla leave together. Winner is Layla in like a 1.5 out of 5 match. But it's main event time now. It's Money in the Bank ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. John Cena vs Roman Reigns vs Bray Wyatt vs Randy Orton vs Cesaro vs Kane vs Sheamus vs Alberto Del Rio. And this was just similar to the first match. A lot of back and forth action. A lot of times where you didn't know who was going to win. Reigns were firing up, hitting spears on everyone that moved. Kane trying to take everyone out. Super Cena doing what it does best, taking everyone out. Pretty awesome match. And Kane obviously Kane hit a chokeslam on a lot of people. Randy Orton was even busted open due to a ladder coming back and hitting him in the head. It was busted wide open, looks like he could have a concussion. He seemed to be stumbling into the ladder, but John Cena climbs up the ladder and Super Cena does what he does best. I think it was pretty obvious who was going to win this match. I think everyone knew that Super Cena was going to win, and I'm a little bit disappointed that he did win. We saw some great strength from Cesaro as usual, but things worked out when Reigns and Cena left alone in the ring. They milked the crowd, slowly walking closer to one another. They eventually start firing punches off back and forth, with Cena ultimately hoisting Reigns up for the attitude adjustment as the fans boo loudly. Reigns escapes, however, and blasts Cena with a huge spear. The fans explode with cheers. Reigns and Orton end up trying to climb up the same bit of the ladder, but they duke it out with punches. And trade turns, slamming each other's face into the ladder. Orton is busted wide open, and Reigns knocks Orton off of the ladder. Kane knocks Reigns off, and Cena hits an AA on Kane, and then Orton climbs the ladder and takes the titles off. John Cena wins. Michael Cole touts John Cena now being a 15-time champion, and he says that John Cena is the best WWE champion ever. Boy, Jesus, talked about sucking up. And I think it's sad that John Cena is going to take Ric Flair's, well, his record as a 16-time champion. I think it's pretty sad. And that they picked John Cena for the best WWE champion in history is a little bit more sad. And it was a pretty predictable match. I'm just hoping that they proved us wrong and that John Cena didn't win, but Super Cena prevailed. As Jerry Lawler, JBL, Michael Cole said, he always finds a way of pulling it off in big matches. That's because WWE does it. Oh, seriously, it annoys me. John Cena ended up winning the match was predictable. And the old pay-per-view was, to be honest, one of the worst of the year. I didn't seem to enjoy it as much as what I should have. And what I'll give the old pay-per-view a 6 out. I am honestly annoyed that John Cena won. Seriously, it's just so stupid. Daniel Bryan gets injured and Super Cena steps in and takes the belt. What a shot. But I wonder what it's going to be like on Raw tonight. But yeah, let me know what you thought of Money in the Bank in the comment section down below. As I said, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. In my opinion, one of the worst of the year. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook for links in the description. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe.